What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 307, powered by the one and only Golden Eagle Energy Drinks. Get your Golden Eagle Energy Drinks at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. That's drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. They've sponsored all season 4 of the podcast, so show them love for showing us love. And I am recording right now the podcast episode right in the morning as I wake up, so if I'm a little off and I seem like I don't have energy, whatever the case may be, that's probably the reason why. The reason why I'm doing it is because normally I do the podcast later at night. One, because it gets really hot in here. And two, I like the whole day to go through its news cycle because you never know what's going to happen, So, but I am working on this documentary that I need to really, really like crunch in and focus on. And, I don't want to have to focus on that today and then stop and then go back to the podcast, record, and then go back to, because that just ruins my focus. So I decided let's just record it in the morning, get it out the way. That way I can kind of zone in and focus on the documentary as well. So if I miss anything in the news cycle, which the chances of it are slim unless something crazy happens, like Diddy gets arrested or something like that, I won't be missing really anything major. So yeah, I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. And, yeah, let's get into the news, and I want to, give a round of applause to Mr. Poopy Butthole, a.k.a. Lil Reese. His rape charge, according to him, has been officially dismissed. So he did not rape that female or any of that stuff. And I did say, when I reported it, that, hey, we can't believe, just the news headlines and stuff, even though I have a gripe with him because he did scam his fans for money, and that hasn't been proven that he hasn't done that. He hasn't. See, he can prove this rape case, which is fine. That's 100%. That the problem with that is look, he focused on the rape case because it reached all headlines. Like every news outlet reported it. But when it comes to him scamming his fans out of money, it hasn't been every headline. So, he's not really focused on that. He kind of got away with that. But the rape case he did not do. So let's go over the article. Lil Reese has paid tribute to Boozy Badass after the rapper's rape case was dismissed by the court. Reese broke the news on social media, celebrating that the case will not be going forward after he previously denied the allegations. So this is what he said on Twitter, or X. So today was my first court date for the false ass shit that bitch said. I did. And guess what? Case dismissed. I want to see them post and put this all around like they did when I said I raped a lying bitch. Clearly, he's, furious about the incident. And then he posts, like, on Instagram, he posted the proof of appearance in court and then tagged Shade Room TMZ, said the same way y'all was posting that false-ass information. And, like, I did some shit to a bitch when I know it was cap. Post this case dismissed by first court date. Fuck you mean. Now what they gonna say, I'm ready to sue. So, yeah, he can sue the female, obviously, for false. I think you can, at least. And then he shows love to Boozy because apparently Boozy was there at that moment, and Boozy actually talked about it. So he says, "Shout out to Boozy, you the first guy that knew I was innocent when it happened. I get bitch ass. I don't know. It's all censored. I gotta take some shit for whatever. Regardless, he apparently the case got dismissed. So yeah, he's clear out of the name. I never said he actually did it. I know a Lil Reese fan kind of reached out to me and was like, report that this and this. And I was like, wait, until everything gets, actually cleared, then I'll report on it. I'm not just going to go off of what Lil Reese says. I mean, he could say he's innocent all day, 24/7. That doesn't mean that he's innocent. I did, though, when I reported it, I never took a side. I think in these type of things, you can't, doesn't matter what it is. Like doesn't matter who it is. In these type of situations, you cannot be so like, oh, fuck this guy. Fuck it, he did it, blah, blah, blah. Like you have to wait until the actual court proceeds and does its thing. And then you judge. Let the judge be the judge. Let's just say that. So yeah, shout out to Lil Reese. Cool, great that he didn't do that. Much respect to him, but I still have lost a lot of respect for him for scamming his fans. So until he can prove that he didn't do that, he is still Mr. Poopy Butthole. So we'll keep our eyes posted and see if anything else comes out. Maybe Lil Reese will actually show that he didn't scam his fans, and then I have to retract everything I said and just show him straight up respect. Listen, if he can prove he didn't scam his fans, I will literally go on this podcast and talk about Lil Reese for 30 minutes straight about how great of a rapper he is. I'm not even joking. I will literally do that for 30 minutes straight. I don't know what I'm going to say, But for 30 minutes straight, I'm just going to go over classics. He only has like 2-3 tracks that I really enjoy, but regardless, I'm going to go over his whole catalog for 30 minutes straight. If he can prove he didn't scam his fans, but I doubt he'll be able to do that because he did. But yeah, shout out to him for at least not, doing wrong things to that female. So salute to him, and he should sue that girl because she is a garbage human being for accusing him for that. Shame on her, and women that accuse someone of that should face repercussions because that's bullshit. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted. Nelly's lawyer has spoken out. Nelly still hasn't spoken out of his arrest. We reported on the last podcast episode he got arrested with ecstasy. So let's go over the article. Nelly's attorney has defended his client and claimed that he was the victim of an overzealous policing after he was arrested for possession of ecstasy and driving without insurance. The rapper was at a Missouri casino on Tuesday night, August 6th, and won a significant amount of money, which he then went to cash in, only for a police officer to say that they needed to do a background check first. Wow. After running a background check, it came back that Nelly had an outstanding warrant stemming from a 2018 traffic stop in Maryland relating to driving without proof of insurance. Nelly's attorney claims that the rapper and actor was then handcuffed in the middle of a casino and paraded out in front of the public. No wonder Nelly's kind of smiling in the mugshot. Motherfucker won a lot of money. In the casino, you want a lot of money, and they trying to arrest him. That's some bullshit. His legal team further accused the officer of then searching him without probable cause, which turned up 4 ecstasy pills. In a statement to Page 6, they claim that Nelly was targeted by an overzealous, out-of-line officer and are calling for an inquiry into the cop's conduct. Others say this: I am 100% confident this case will go nowhere, and we will be asking for an inquiry into this officer's conduct, said that Nelly's attorney, Scott Rosenblum. There are mixed reports on whether Nelly was charged with felony drug possession, with his attorney denying that is the case right now. After winning several jackpots at a venue where Nelly frequently visits and entertains at its amphitheater, instead of just supervising the transfer of Mr. Haynes' winnings, the officer felt compelled to needlessly run a check for warrants. Though Nelly's attorney hit out at the background check, it is standard for Missouri casinos to run checks as part of the state's gambling laws. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, won a bunch of money. I guess it's the law for them to do. I don't know if he's ever won casino money before. Maybe he didn't know, and he didn't. That's the thing with some of these celebrities. They're so out and about, and they get caught in these type of traffic stops and stuff. They don't show up to court. They have to deal with all these things, so they don't even know that they have a warrant for their arrest. I had my cousin had a warrant for his arrest over something like a traffic stop, and literally he got pulled over for speeding. They said, hey, you got a warrant out for your arrest. He got arrested that night in front of his kids. His wife had no idea like he had a warrant for his arrest. Sometimes you just don't know, especially when you're a celebrity and you're traveling everywhere. Basically, you're gonna fuck up on something like that here or there. Just stay out of trouble. That's the best way. You just don't speed. Try to be as low key as possible. Stay out of trouble, and you won't have to worry about these things. But it's easier said than done for a lot of these celebrities. So yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted and see what happens moving forward. Updates on T.I. and Tiny's California sexual assault lawsuit, and turns out it gets thrown out. So T.I. and his wife Tiny have a cause to celebrate after successfully arguing to have a California case of sexual assault thrown out. A rep for a couple told All Hip Hop on Friday, August 9th, that the case filed from an unidentified woman earlier this year has officially been dismissed. The court agreed with Tip and Tamika that Jane Doe doesn't appear to have any viable claims. The rep explained, as Tip and Tamika stated 3 years ago, these allegations are some of the many false, salacious allegations thrown out into the media in a cheap attempt to extort money from them. Last month, the rapper and his wife asked for the case to be dismissed, and they got it. So, in a separate case in January, a woman identified as Jane Doe filed a lawsuit against the two over a 2005 incident. So, this is something else. At the file of time, I don't know if this one got dismissed because they got quite a few. They got kind of like a Diddy situation at one point. Not as much as Diddy, but they got like 3 or 4 thrown at them. So far, I believe 2 have been dismissed. I could be wrong on this, but they haven't had like a lot of these lawsuits go anywhere. They've just been accused of stuff. So T.I. and his wife have been in the clear so far from what I can see. But yeah, like I said, man, these type of people that accuse these things, they should get some type of punishment for it. You can't just accuse people, ruin their reputation, especially a public figure, because more people see the actual initial headline of the lawsuit than they see the case getting dismissed. That's why, like I said, on this podcast, I like to report. I try to keep up to date on a lot of these cases so you guys know that, hey, this lawsuit happened a while ago, but it's been dismissed, or they got accused of it, blah, 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 blah. Like the Lil Reese thing. I would not just report on that, and then if it gets dismissed, whatever happens, I just don't follow up. I always like to follow up on these things because it clears their name. It's out of respect. I would want, if I ever got accused of something like that and it was in public headlines, I would want people following up on it and showing respect and decency to me. I know most outlets don't give a fuck about that, and most outlets could care less. They just are clickbaity, but I try not to be that way at all. So, yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted and see if any other lawsuits that he's been hit with get dismissed as well. Travis Scott has had one of his charges reduced, and this is an old incident, and we're going to report on a new incident in Paris, but this old incident was him drunk on a yacht. Basically, they're asking him to leave. He wasn't going to leave, and they gave him some charges. So let's go over the article. Travis Scott has gotten some charges dropped from his June arrest for disorderly intoxication and trespassing in Miami, but he hasn't gotten off scot-free just yet. Per TMZ, prosecutors dropped the disorderly intoxication charge against Scott during a hearing on Thursday, August 8th. However, the state of Florida has decided to move forward with a misdemeanor trespassing charge. Travis Scott is set to go to trial on the matter on September 10th. According to Florida-based law firm Muscal Law, the charge comes with up to 60 days in jail and or a fine of up to $500. And if a person is present in the structure when the trespass occurs, it's considered a first-degree misdemeanor charge, which can carry up to 1 year in jail. As previously reported, Travis Scott was arrested 1:17 a.m. on June 20th for causing disturbance on a charter boat at a Miami Beach marina. He was drunk, causing a disturbance, and asked to leave multiple times. Yeah, we reported on that. There's actually video footage, body cam footage of that. He basically just didn't want to leave and was like, fuck no, I'm Travis Scott. What do you guys know about Travis Scott? Exactly. Continuing on, he did also get arrested in Paris. This guy just seems to love to get arrested and breaking some type of rules in one way or another. This, though, however, he's going scot-free. He's not going to have any charges against him. So let's go over the article. Travis Scott will be getting scot-free following his arrest in Paris earlier this week. On Saturday, August 10th, Paris prosecutors told TMZ that no charges would be filed against the star and that he had been released from jail. Scott was arrested on Friday, August 9th after he allegedly attacked a security guard at a swanky George V hotel. According to reports, the guard was trying to break up an existing scuffle between the Astroworld rapper and his bodyguard. Prosecutors in Paris said in a statement to NBC News, "I can confirm that on August 9th, police officers were called to the George V hotel and arrested the rapper nicknamed Travis Scott for assaulting a security guard. The security guard had intervened to separate the rapper from his bodyguard. The Paris Public Prosecutor's Office has referred the case to the First District of Judicial Police. The arrest comes just 2 months after blah, 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 disorderly conduct on that yacht thing. So, yeah, he just seems to, man, I don't know what it is with Travis Scott, but he seems to just get into, like, trouble every couple of months. And it's like small things that just pile up. So I'm be surprised, like, if at one point he doesn't just end up going to actual jail for this, like, for at least a couple of months, because don't these things stack up over time? I don't know how this works, but yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted and see what happens moving forward. Lil Wayne has been rumored or accused by fans. This hasn't been like anything that's been official, but you know, the internet talks, and then the internet starts to spew narratives, and then before you know it, an actual beef starts. I mean, we were talking about this, I think, a podcast or two ago about, I don't remember what the subject matter was, but, Big Sean and Kendrick Lamar, how people were kind of pushing this narrative that they had this battle, and it made Big Sean think that that was actually true, as well as Kendrick, and to come to find out, they talk to each other, everything's cool. And usually that's how these things go. Media adds fuel to this, not even fire. They just turn it to fucking fire. And then the two individuals that are involved don't get a chance to actually speak directly to each other, and then things escalate. I wholeheartedly believe if Tupac and Biggie actually spoke to each other directly, instead of allowing middlemen to get involved, they still would have been alive today. This article is accusing Lil Wayne of betraying Drake. So let's go over the article. Lil Wayne has been accused of betraying Drake after showing love to The Weeknd amid the bitter feud between the Canadian superstars. In the video for his new Higher collaboration, Mike Will Made It and Lil Yachty, that was released on Tuesday, August 6th, Weezy wears a diamond chain adorned with the logo of The Weeknd's XO record label. The Blinding Lights singer brought attention to this himself, saluting Wayne on social media for the homage. The GOAT Lil Wayne rocking the XO playing the guitar. He wrote on Instagram stories alongside a screenshot from the video. Fans were quick to question Lil Wayne's intentions, giving the recent shots lobbied between Drake and The Weeknd. So obviously Drake and The Weeknd aren't cool, so people are like, why is Lil Wayne showing love to The Weeknd? But here's how I view this, right? I think Lil Wayne is out of touch with a lot of stuff that goes on in music. And I think he doesn't potentially see the Drake and Weeknd thing being that serious, even though, and this hasn't been 100% confirmed, even though that's the only beef that actually had some shooting in it. You know, security guards, and then Drake's house gets attacked by some intruders, blah, blah, blah. So that's the only beef out of this whole thing that actually turned into some serious stuff where people got shot. You know, security guard got injured over at The Weeknd's manager's house, and then Drake's house got attacked by intruders. So this might be actually the most serious one that we're just kind of brushing off. So I don't know if Lil Wayne knows that, because Lil Wayne, you know, he'll sometimes get asked things in interviews and he's out of the loop on a lot of things. He just pays attention really to himself. So I don't know how in tune Lil Wayne is with everything, Lil Tunechi. But, you know, could there be some issues with Lil Wayne and Drake? I haven't seen Lil Wayne and Drake on stage together in a minute. I haven't seen them make music together in a minute. So that's kind of fueling the rumors that Wayne and Drake might not be cool, which would be wild because Lil Wayne, you know, is obviously the one that put Drake on. Whether, you know, people want to say, oh, Drake already had a buzz, so on and so forth. Yeah, but then you could argue the same thing with 50 Cent, right? He had a buzz before Eminem signed him, but still, Eminem signed him, gave him this huge platform. Lil Wayne signed him, gave him this huge platform. To me, I don't think it really matters if they had a buzz. Yes, they could have signed somewhere else, but would their careers go the same had they signed somewhere else? That's the big question. I think Drake's more so would have gone the same, because I don't think Wayne really musically had a huge input in Drake. I think he had an impact, but not at the level that Eminem and Dr. Dre did with 50. Even though half of Give It Your Die Trying was already done, you got to admit that in the club, the beat, you know, coming from Dre, that's something that's huge. That he would have never had in the club had he not signed with Eminem and Dr. Dre. He would have never had a lot of the production that, you know, has catapulted his career. Whereas Drake didn't really have to rely on Lil Wayne's producers or his Young Money connects. You know, Drake already had 40. He already had this kind of structure around him, and that's why Drake's kind of longevity has lasted as long as it lasted, because if he solely relied on Lil Wayne's kind of structure, then he probably wouldn't be lasting this long. Regardless, it's going to be interesting, man. I don't think there is any tensions or anything like that serious, because we would eventually hear about it. I think Drake would say something or Wayne would say something. These two going subliminally at it just doesn't really make sense to me. These two have had too much of a history together for that to happen. So I don't know. We'll keep our eyes posted, but it is interesting nonetheless. Continuing on with Drake, this is an interesting story because this kind of proves the narrative that Drake is potentially a slave to Universal Music Group. Why am I saying that? Let's go over article. Drake has been hit with copyright violation claim from Universal Music Group for sharing portions of his recently released trove of unheard music on social media. So, as we reported, I think on the last episode, Drake dropped this 100 gigs of files, right? And on the website, he dropped, and even on Instagram, he dropped the 3 full songs that he released. These are 3 unreleased songs, and then the rest of the files were just video footage of things that he recorded a while ago and moments that he had, right? When Drake posted these songs on Instagram, they were up for 2 or 3 days, and then Universal Music Group did a copyright strike and took them down. And then literally a day later, we got these songs on streaming platforms. Now, people are speculating and saying, you know, they basically said, fuck no, Drake, you can't drop free music like that. You have to drop it on streaming platforms so we can make money off of it. That's what they're saying. That's why Drake is that $400 million deal that he has that people are going crazy over. They're saying they basically got him in a chokehold, a 360 type of deal where he's forced to put out music at a certain time and constantly release music. That's why we haven't seen an hiatus from Drake at all. Like literally, it's been almost every other year or every year dropping music for a long time. I think he would be more respected if he took a little hiatus because people would miss him more. That's the thing about a lot of these things is you need to be missed for people to appreciate you a lot more. When you're constantly dropping music, constantly feeding the summers and winters and all this stuff with music, people are going to be like, okay, we've heard what you got. Cool. We want to listen to something else. But when people haven't heard you in a couple of years and they kind of miss, they go back to your old catalog, they start missing your music, then when you drop, you get a lot more attention. But yeah, it says here, Drizzy's recently revealed burner Instagram account. Plot twist, took to stories on Thursday, August 8th to share a screenshot of a violation issued by Instagram. While the notification identified UMG as a plaintiff, it did not indicate which of his newly released songs caused a violation of the website's copyright agreement. It was earlier this week that Drake shocked music fans around the world by unloading tons of old songs, videos, and even concepts for his private plane decor. Yeah, so it says access to your content has been restricted, post-restricted worldwide. And this is Universal Music Group music guidelines. So then he just released the tracks on streaming services, which I don't know why he did this in the first place. I think people are speculating that it's probably just to remind people of how long Drake has been dominating and kind of giving us summer anthems every year. And that you got to respect. But we'll see how these songs perform, that he dropped them for free. And then now that they're on streaming platforms, we're going to see how they perform. I personally like the one with Young Thug and 21 Savage. The other two I don't care for. I haven't listened to them ever again. But the It's Up record with 21 Savage and Young Thug, I actually enjoy. It's a great track. But this is more adding to the fuel that Drake is a slave to Universal Music Group. Personally, I think the deal of $400 million is astronomical. If he has to be more consistent, I get it. But I do think that once he finishes out this deal, he should just kind of take a hiatus for at least a couple of years so people can miss him. But we'll keep our eyes posted and see if anything new happens moving forward. Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Golden Eagle for sponsoring this podcast. Yes, if it wasn't for Golden Eagle, this podcast wouldn't be possible. If you're looking for an energy drink that doesn't tear a hole in your pocket, Golden Eagle energy drink is the one you want to get. Golden Eagle has the smoothest taste with no aftertaste. You don't get acid reflux when you drink it, and you will save a lot of money. So check out Golden Eagle at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. The link is in the description below. And how do you think this podcast would be possible without me having energy to do it? Come on, guys. You guys got to remember this. I need energy to do this stuff, man, because there's a lot of crazy topics. So look how smooth this thing sounds. Look at it. Oh my God, it's fresh. Look at that Golden Eagle. Look at the can. It's so beautiful too, man. Look at that. It's so fresh, man. So fresh. Golden Eagle energy drink. Go to the link description below. That's drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. Let's continue the episode. Continuing on, Kanye West. This is kind of a rumor. It hasn't been really confirmed by Kanye or really denied. So let's go over the article. Kanye West is battling a potentially fatal addiction to nitrous oxide that is being supplied by his dentist. According to his former chief of staff and far-right figure, Milo Yiannopoulos, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, is in an affidavit filed by Yiannopoulos against Thomas Connolly to the California Dental Board. He claims that the dentist is charging Kanye West more than $50,000 per month for the gas. In the filing, Yiannopoulos makes a number of wild allegations against Connolly, including that he desired to run West's Yeezy company and developed a personal use N2O2 system for an annual salary of $2.4 million. Yiannopoulos also claims that Connolly got the rap mogul hooked on nitrous gas and would deliver canisters of it to his home, while Kanye has been frequently seen inhaling it through an oxygen mask. The affidavit also references a video posted online of Ye appearing to self-administer the gas while addressing boxer Ryan Garcia, saying, "Ryan Garcia, this Ye, I'm on the nitrous." Yiannopoulos claims that as a result of his gas addiction, Kanye has developed distressing side effects, and his behavior has concerned several Yeezy employees. The affidavit cites a claim made by a current Yeezy employee, Eric Kui, in June, that Kanye underwent a brain scan which revealed evidence of permanent brain damage from rampant, prolonged abuse of nitrous oxide. Yiannopoulos also said that Kanye defrauds his dental customers by using fake diamonds and that he charged Lil Yachty over $1 million to implant potentially fake diamonds in his teeth. Outside of Kanye, the affidavit claims that Kanye West has been robbed of a number of important belongings by an advisor named Paul Johnson. Yiannopoulos claims items stolen inside West's Grammy Awards, as well as more personal belongings such as his mother's death certificate and mementos from the births of his children. Yiannopoulos also took to social media to outline his claims against Kanye. He said, Kanye got Ye hooked on nitrous, laughing gas. It is my belief that Kanye sought to diminish Ye's mental facilities so that Kanye and his business associate could extract millions of dollars from him. Earlier this year, I uncovered the fraud and intervened. Ye hooked on nitrous blew up our relationship on purpose by proposing something he knew I'd have to resign over because I had told him so. The resurrection of a longtime idol fantasy of making porn. Oh, so this is okay. This is about that porn stuff that he wanted to do. He continued, Thomas Connolly is a dangerous predator who targets African-American celebrities into whose mouth he puts fake diamonds. As I suspected, he did it to Lil Yachty. He must be stopped. I filed a complaint with the California Dental Board last week to that end. For his part, Connolly denies allegations saying that they are not only factually incorrect, but also intentionally misleading. Connolly also claims that Yiannopoulos is trying to destroy his reputation. Kanye himself has not yet commented on accusations. Yeah, if this is true, this is probably the weirdest case of something going on dark with a celebrity. This nitrous gas stuff can literally can kill you and make you like lose brain cells at an astronomical rate. Drinking alcohol can make you lose brain cells, but at a super, super slow rate. Like you'd have to be an alcoholic every single day to start losing like great amount of brain cells. But this nitrous oxide, whatever stuff, can really, really damage your brain. And there were reports that that's why, because of this is why Vultures 2 was taking a long time to be made, and why Vultures 2 isn't that great of an album. I still haven't fully listened to Vultures 2. I've listened to a couple of tracks. I've just been busy with this documentary that I haven't had time. And when I listen to it, I will do a review on it. But a lot of people have complained about the album from what I've seen. The reviews have been pretty bad on it. And, there have been reports it's because he's addicted to this stuff that the album didn't come out that great. And that's why it took such a long time for the album to come out, because it was originally scheduled to be released, I believe, in May or even June. And here we are in August. It's finally out. Regardless, I pray that this is not the case. If it is, it's very sad. I mean, God forbid, we could see a day where we see rest in peace Kanye West and he's dead at this rate, because if he continues doing this stuff, who knows what the hell else is going on behind the scenes. I hope Kanye comes out and denies this. Instead, he's having issues with Atlantic Records, the record label, because he's putting out his music through streaming platforms. I don't know what the case is 100%, but let's go over the article. Kanye West has claimed that his and Ty Dolla $ign's Vultures albums are being held hostage by Atlantic Records and may be taken down from streaming services. On Thursday, August 8th, Kanye shared screenshots of a text message from his manager, John Monopoly, who appeared to suggest that Atlantic wanted remuneration from the projects as Ty is signed to their label. In the message, Monopolo, I put Monopoly. His name is Monopolo, but it says Monopolo here. Yeah, his name is Monopoly, but it says Monopolo here. Okay, anyways, wrote to Ye, co-head of Atlantic, Julie Greenwald, just called me. She just got fired. She said the new head is not going to give us a grace period to handle Atlantic's compensation. She suggested that I let Too Lost and Create know that 40% of all revenue from Vultures 1 and Vultures 2 needs to be paid to Atlantic. She's saying that if we don't handle immediately, Atlantic will issue takedowns for both albums. Please advise. This is what they do. This is what Kanye said. This is what they do to independent artists, Kanye wrote over the screenshot on his Instagram stories, although he didn't share his reply to Monopoly's message. The Chicago rap legend then publicly asked who the new head of Atlantic is. It was announced earlier this week that Elliot Greenidge, the son of Universal Music Group boss Lucien and founder of 10K Project, will be taken over at the record company. So more issues with the albums coming out, more issues with it being on streaming platforms, more issues with just overall. Nothing seems to go right, it seems like, for Kanye. Everything just has to have something attached to it. It's been a while since I've heard Kanye just drop an album and just the music comes out and there's nothing surrounding it. At this point, there's so many rumors and things coming out that I don't know what to believe. And I think they're doing this on purpose. I think if people that are higher up in power attacking Kanye, they're doing this on purpose. They're doing it so we can constantly be thrown off by what's going on with Kanye. And then, God forbid, one day he's just dead. I would not be surprised if that happens. At this point, I think he's pissed off a lot of people in power through a lot of different ways. Him wanting his independence is another thing that doesn't sit well with record labels, man. It's better for people to be in a Drake deal where he's basically a slave and has to consistently drop music for a large sum of money and be under their umbrella than if Drake decided to go independent and say, fuck you guys, I'm just going to drop music how I want to drop music. Because imagine if Drake did that. Imagine if Drake said, hey, I don't want to be on a label. I just want to be an independent artist. I just want to drop music. That would then motivate a lot of other artists to do the same thing. And then that would be the demise of record labels. I think record labels are not needed in today's time. I think the only thing that's needed is the streaming platforms. Artists go straight to the streaming platform. They do a split of, hey, you get 15%, I get whatever the hell, and that's it. What's the meaning of record labels? What do they do at this point? I don't know. I really don't know. Back then, it made sense. Today's time, to me, it doesn't make sense. They don't develop artists. They just find them on whatever the fuck, YouTube, whatever platform that they can find them on. They don't help with marketing that well. I haven't really seen a record label push an artist that well in a long time. Yeah, they might have connections to, oh, you can go on this talk show and do this. Who gives a fuck about that shit at this point, man? Mainly old people give a shit about an artist showing up on a talk show and talking. Young generation could give two fucks. These new artists can just go on Kai Cenat's stream, whatever, iShowSpeed, and all these other big streamers, Adam Ross, and just talk and for an hour and have fun. Boom. There's your talk show type of environment. But yeah, Kanye, I'm not surprised he's facing all these issues, man. I would not be surprised, God forbid, if something happens to him, because with that nitrous oxide thing and then this, having issues with labels attacking him and his name getting destroyed and dragged through the mud on a lot of different things, wouldn't know what's going to happen moving forward, but my prayers are for him, man. He's been going through a lot of weird things, and we'll keep our eyes posted moving forward. This warmed my soul. I'm not even going to lie. This was something that I've been waiting for a minute. Blacc Sam, also known as Nipsey Hussle's older brother, finally did a sit-down interview, and he normally never gets on camera and talks, never does interviews. He'll probably appear in documentaries here and there and, talk about the history of Marathon Clothing and Nipsey Hussle and stuff. But mainly, when Nipsey Hussle was alive, he would obviously do all the interviews and stuff like that because he was the artist. Well, Big Boy, who's been a huge, long-time supporter of Nipsey Hussle and has had a relationship with Nipsey Hussle and his brother for a long time, got Blacc Sam to sit down and do an interview. And the interview was roughly an hour and 30 minutes long. And I watched the full thing, and I was excited. The second I saw it, I was like, I can't wait to see this. And for the first hour, it basically talks about the history, how, Blacc Sam and Nipsey Hussle built what they built. And it even goes into the story of how Blacc Sam hid $250,000 of money in their backyard. And when he dug it up, a lot of the money was molded because water got in there. And they basically lost about $50,000 out of that $250,000. And, that was a cool story. And he talks about how they built the whole company and all that stuff. But then after an hour, it starts to talk about, Nipsey Hussle's day when he got killed, which was March 31st, 2019. And there's an interesting part of Big Boy asks his brother, Blacc Sam, the night before, did you hang out with your brother, Nipsey? And he talks about how that night they were celebrating a friend's birthday, or a cousin's birthday, I think. And they were talking that night about how Nipsey Hussle shouldn't just pull up to the Marathon Clothing store by himself unannounced, that he should let people know because that allows for people to get proper security around him. But Nipsey kind of brushed it off, was like, man, I ain't doing that shit. Like, I'm just, I know that area. Nobody's going to do anything to me. So in hindsight, obviously, that was not the best thing to kind of say in that moment. And, his brother tried to push him to get more security when he's moving out and about. So they had this great moment where, Eve Rivera, who directed the Higher video with DJ Khaled and Nipsey and John Legend, apparently ran into them at the restaurant that they were celebrating the birthday and showed him the first draft of the Higher video, so he got to see that before he passed away. And then the following day, he talks about the day that his brother got shot and killed. He says that he was supposed to run a weed store for somebody over a night shift, and then went home to kind of just get some sleep because he was working all night, went to sleep, and then he just got woken up by a bunch of text messages, astronomical amount of text messages about, hey, man, your brother, something's going on in the Marathon store. So he just immediately got out the house, went there, saw his brother still breathing after being shot so many times, and then he fought, he basically went to the hospital with his brother, and then ultimately his brother got pronounced officially dead. What was interesting, though, is he talks about Eric Holder, the shooter, and he kind of insinuates that it had something to do with gangs, because Eric Holder was wearing a red shirt, and when you go in that area, obviously it's Rolling 60s Crips. It's a gang area that you can't show up with red over there because they're going to violate you. So Blacc Sam was saying that he showed up in a red T-shirt and saw if there's any pushback on that. Saw that he kind of scoped the area out. He didn't show up in a red T-shirt initially. He showed up and then kind of took it off and then scoped the area out to see if there's any people with guns and security, and ultimately came back, shot Nipsey, blah, 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 and then ran away. And we talked about this before, that had there been people with guns and security to shoot back at Eric Holder, Nipsey would have probably still been alive, but Nipsey would have probably been in a wheelchair because the first bullet that hit him, he instantly dropped. So it hit his spinal cord somewhere. So he probably would have been in a wheelchair. I don't know if he would have been recovering from that, because when a bullet hits your spinal cord, depending on where it hits, it's over. You pretty much can't walk ever again. But he details that, and he kind of insinuates that there's something behind the scenes going on because, and here's another reason, the night before, when he was talking about hanging out with Nipsey before he died, they were talking about politics of how there were gang members threatening DJ Khaled for showing up to certain hood sets to shoot the video for hire. And they were talking about that politics and saying that nobody's going to fuck with DJ Khaled when he's out here with us. Nobody's going to do anything. So there have been rumors that, I'm not going to throw out names, but there have been some gang leaders out there that hated Nipsey Hussle because of his power and his muscle that he was starting to have as the years went on. Because as the years went on, he got more powerful, more money, got more notoriety, got bigger, and he would basically say, hey, when DJ Khaled came in, y'all ain't going to do shit about it. I can bring DJ Khaled here, I can shoot a video, and y'all ain't going to do nothing about it. And that, I'm not trying to throw words in Blacc Sam's mouth, but the way he kind of talked in the interview, it seemed like there was something going on in politics behind the scenes with gangs, that they didn't like the way Nipsey Hussle was kind of moving around. That he was moving around a little bit like, hey, you know what? I can do whatever I can do. This is my set, my neighborhood. So that's why Blacc Sam was, in the interview, he kind of mentions a little bit about Eric Holder mainly being hired by somebody from a different gang to kill Nipsey. That somebody from a different gang did that they wanted Nipsey out the way. Another interesting thing is Blacc Sam talked about how after Nipsey died, he was trying to figure out the pieces to the puzzle and was wondering why the fuck wasn't the staff there ready and on point like he normally has them. He says whenever Nipsey comes there, they build like a kind of circle to protect him. And he's like, why didn't that happen that day that he was there? Like every time he's told them that if Nipsey shows up there, you guys got to have a certain protection. So I'm going to play that little portion of it because I'm sure the video is copyrighted, so I wish I could play all of it and let you guys listen to it. But if you haven't seen the interview, go ahead and watch it. Big Boy did an interview with him. And let me play a clip of that moment because I want you guys to hear specifically that part of, they should have had something to protect him. So let's play it. Let's see what he had to say.
Somebody come to the shop. They know we in the doorway. When Hustle pull up, we in the doorway. You're gonna see me with a hoodie on, and I got a pistol on me. You're gonna see one of the team members in the hoodie, in the doorway with a pistol. That's protocol when Hustle pull up. So it's Sunday, it's busy in there. Why the niggas in there didn't follow the protocol. I wasn't there. Why they didn't follow it? Maybe they was fucking around helping the customer, doing some fucking customer service. This is what I'm thinking, trying to, you know, transition into some legitimate just selling clothes. But nobody was in the doorway. And from my understanding, old boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene, because he know what's going on in that parking lot. And had a conversation, probably seen nobody was in the doorways, checked Hussle had on shorts, checked everybody else, left. They say came back with a red shirt on, tiptoed through the alley, and went right and started shooting. So to me, that's premeditated. Number one, there's no red shirts in the hood. You can't buy no red shirt. No liquor store sell no red shirt. Number two, when a nigga come through the alley with a red shirt, that's the throw off, or the Bloods did it, or the Inglewood families did it, or the BPS, that's the throw off, red shirt. So for me, he felt he was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever, and he was nervous. He was supposed to hit that alley with that red shirt immediately, but he didn't do that. He came in and he wanted to check the scene. He wanted to make sure he wasn't getting into a shootout. And that's my thoughts on it. You understand? So, and can't nobody tell me nothing about that, because it just don't make no sense. It's not random, you know. I know Hussle. You know, ain't nobody gonna say nothing crazy to Hussle, because they know what come with it. No matter what age you are, niggas ain't saying nothing crazy to Hussle, wherever you find him at. But on Crenshaw and Slauson, definitely you're not saying nothing crazy. You're gonna come, you're gonna tuck your tail and be humble, and if not, you're getting beat up on the spot. And we done did it a million times. Hussle done did it a million times. So the fact that he left tell me everything I need to know. It was no argument. You know, it was no sense of threat. Because with that come, like, hey, be on deck. Yeah, it was none of that. It was just, you know, to me it was, let me come through, let me see what's going on, and then let me, you know, in this broad daylight, man, and it's, you know, it's a lot of unanswered questions, man.
So see, he's saying that usually when there's a protocol, when Nipsey Hussle comes there, there's people supposed to be surrounding him, making sure everything's good. But this day, they just weren't on point. And Eric Holder took advantage of that. I do think he is, throughout the interview, insinuating that it was a paid hit. It wasn't just something random. That's what I feel. And he even says in the interview, like if you guys watch the full thing, he says, you know, everything's going to come to light as time goes on. So I do think there is something behind the scenes that we don't know about. We have to remember, and this is maybe because my Nipsey Hussle documentary is the most watched documentary that has been made on Nipsey Hussle, period. There's nobody that's had more views than me and told his life story than me. And it's my most viewed documentary. It's at 4.4 million, 4.3 million views. But throughout that documentary, I just talked about like how he started, talked about his career, and mainly focused just on his like life story. But I might do like a mini documentary about like his street ties and his history in the streets, because he's deeply rooted in the streets. And there's been a lot of stories of him, just like how his brother talks about, squabbling with people, fighting with people, taking his chains off, you know, anybody that disrespects him, handling them, so on and so forth. So I think a little documentary on that side of things, as well as his philanthropy, because that also has a dope, you know, side to it that I might do like maybe a 1-2 part series like that. But because I just love Nipsey Hussle, man. I love this interview. The only thing I wish that Big Boy would have done is asked, are we getting any new music? That would have been a question that I would have loved for him to answer, because Nipsey has a lot of unreleased music. Kid Ink, I always refer to Kid Ink here. He said that Nipsey would record a lot, just not release it. So, yeah, I hope we get new music. That's the only thing I wish that was asked in this interview, because it's been 5 years. And I hope, you know, we get something down the line, a posthumous album, at least one would be great. But yeah, don't milk it. Like if Nipsey doesn't have a lot of music that's like usable, do not ruin his legacy with like how Pop Smoke, the second album, was just ass cheeks, and you got XXXTentacion with 90 million posthumous albums, and it's just Tupac ruined kind of his legacy a little bit with so many of those posthumous albums. I think one posthumous album, maybe if that material for two, great, but one we have to get. Like we can't just have one debut album. That's it. There needs to be at least one posthumous album after that. I mean, he started the momentum of Racks in the middle, so have that as one of the songs on there, and the rest kind of figure out with pieces put together. But overall, great interview. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't seen it. Continuing on, new music. Let's get into that. 2C dropped Fuck You Mean. Polo G dropped the Hood Poet album. I haven't checked that out, but I need to check that out. Lotto dropped Sugar Honey Iced Tea. Apparently, she's sending a lot of subliminal shots to a lot of female artists. Quavo and Lenny Kravitz dropped Fly. Southside dropped Break the Silence, the album. Larry June dropped Do It For Me, the album. Kodak Black dropped Hit Stick. Lil Tecca dropped Taste. And Logic dropped Ultra 85, the album. Album sales, let's get into it. Taylor Swift, The Torture Poets, is still number one, or at least back to number one, with 141,000 sold. Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign's album, Vultures 2, debuted at number 2 with 82,000 sold. Morgan Wallen, One Thing at a Time, is at number 3 with 62,000 sold. Chappelle Ronan, The Rise and Fall of Midwest Princess, is at number 4 with 62,000 sold. Charlie XCX Brat is at number 5 with 56,000 sold. Billie Eilish, number 6, Hit Me Hard and Soft with 56,000 sold. Zach Bryan, The Great American Bar Scene, is at number 7 with 51,000 sold. At number 8, Twisters, the album soundtrack, is at 37,000 sold. Number 9, Morgan Wallen, Dangerous Double album, 36,000 sold. Noah Khan, Stick Season, number 10 with 36,000 sold. Eminem and Death Slim Shady is at number 11 with 35,000 sold. Going down, SZA SOS, number 15 with 29,000 sold. Future, Metro Boomin, We Don't Trust You, number 22 with 23,000 sold. Going down the list, Travis Scott, Utopia, number 33 with 17,000 sold. Eminem, Curtain Call, number 38 with 17,000 sold. Kendrick Lamar, Damn, number 41 with 16,000 sold. And then Drake, For All the Dogs, at number 49 with 16,000 sold. And Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, at number 50 with 15,000 sold. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. Appreciate you guys, as always. Show love to a sponsor, Golden Eagle Energy Drink at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. They've showed support all season for the podcast, so show them love for showing us love. Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.